Welcome to Bump Set Chat, the podcast where volleyball professionals come on and share their stories, experiences, and advice. And today, from the Orlando Valkyries, I have Brittany Abercrombie. Welcome.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Yeah, so happy you're able to come on and share your story. And the way we start things off, we do a few random questions. So are you ready?
Yes.
All right. So they played songs, intro songs for starters. What would your intro song be?
Oh, that's a tough one. Okay, I really like for a hype song, I really like the song Public Service Announcement, but I'm really into house music. So I would say the song What a Life by John Summit always puts me in a good mood.
All right. Excellent. So now, when you played pro overseas, when you came home, what was that one meal you looked forward to the most?
Tacos,
Yeah.
Mexican tacos. Yep, first thing. Well, my first stop is usually In and Out
Mm-hmm.
when I'm overseas, but then all the meals after that for the next week are tacos.
And then when you hit In and Out, are you doing anything off the secret menu or just a regular burger and fries?
I always get a double double with grilled onions, no tomatoes, sometimes with chopped chilies, which is a secret menu.
Mm-hmm.
And then depends how hungry I am. Sometimes I'll get a second burger or get animal fries.
Nice. Excellent. Good call. All right.
Yeah.
So last question, what's one TV show or movie you watch way too many times?
Oh, way too many times. What have I watched on repeat? The one that pops into my head, I haven't watched it more than once, but it is one of the best shows I've ever seen, and it's Peaky Blinders.
Yeah.
I was talking about it last night with my sister. I told her, you have to watch it. It's one of the best shows I've ever seen. I've seen that movie like 30, 40 times, maybe.
Yeah. All right. So, hey, first of all, congratulations on a wonderful volleyball year. Athletes Unlimited, women winning that championship with Orlando Valkyries and MVP.
Thank you. Thank you. I
Yeah.
appreciate it.
So let's go back to the beginning. Where are you from?
I'm from San Diego, California, born and raised. Spent my whole life here, went to high school here, and then I went to college at University of Southern California, which is up in LA. It's about a 2 hour, 2.5 hour drive from my house.
All right. And when did you first discover volleyball?
I discovered it, I think I was 11. I grew up playing soccer and softball, and my dad was my softball coach. So we had a lot of fun doing that. And then I discovered volleyball. I was really tall, and so everyone was always saying, "You should put her in volleyball, try volleyball." And I was really a shy kid.
Mm-hmm.
So my sister was 3 years older than me, and she was also kind of tall. So we decided we're going to do a YMCA camp together, just a random Saturday, go in for 2 hours, play volleyball. And then I automatically loved it. And I was playing with a bit older kids because she's
Mm-hmm.
older than me. And I was kind of good at it too when I first started that first day. And I remember the kind of leaders of the camp, the coaches of the camp, they were like, she can already play club volleyball. I can either play like a lower level
Mm-hmm.
club, or I can go straight into like wave volleyball or coast volleyball, which are huge major clubs, and like play on a ones team. Um, so that's what I did. I chose to play at wave for 3 years and then coast for 4 years after that.
Nice. And then for you, what is the hook volleyball has on you that has led to this one, college, pro, and and be able to play it for so long?
I loved the team aspect. I mean, soccer and softball are also team sports. But I think also being naturally good at it when I was really young also like sparked that drive to be interested and to pursue it and to want to be better.
And now, did Dad have a tough time not being able to coach you? Because he was coaching you softball. It's like, there's a joy in that, and now to like pass you off, and now volleyball's like, all right, I got to sit on the sidelines. I can't,
Yeah.
help.
Well, the reason also that I stopped playing softball is because I was kind of getting to that point where you have to choose to play travel softball. So
Yeah.
he wouldn't have been the coach anyways.
Ah,
He was
okay.
like my recreational softball coach. We were just, hanging out and having fun. And
Nice.
he was an awesome coach. He was so good and everyone loved him. But yeah, we were about at that point where he'd have to hang up the coaching towel and I would go play travel softball. So I was choosing basically between, do I want to invest in travel
Mm-hmm.
softball or do I invest in travel club volleyball? And I chose volleyball because I just automatically liked it more.
Yeah. You're not giving up that father-daughter time because there's a lot of time in the car you're driving back and forth.
Yeah, definitely. My first sip of coffee was like when I was 14, driving up to ASC in Anaheim at like, 7 a.m. because you have to be there for warm-ups.
Mm-hmm.
Dad's coffee's there, and I'm like, I'm so tired. Let me taste it. So we spent a lot of time together. I have super supportive parents. I've always said that about them, that they were at every game, they were supporting me all the time, driving me everywhere, lessons, practice, whatever I needed to support me, they were there for me, and I'm super grateful
Excellent.
for that.
Was playing club, was that so important for you to be able to get to be able to play at that next level? Without club, if you just played high school, do you think you would have made it where you are without that path?
No, club was definitely the pathway to getting better at volleyball, because when you're surrounding yourself with people who are at your same level or better than you, then you're also challenging yourself to get better. And that's also where the best coaches are going. So I'm getting the best coaching. We're practicing 3 days a week for 2 hours, 2.5 hours. They're working on specific skills, um, and doing, private lessons, maybe once a month or twice a month on top of that. Getting that extra hour of work in really, I think, helped me a lot throughout
Yeah.
my young years.
All right. Now I have to ask because Molly McCage is she's like one of the things. Don't put the tall girl in the middle. Now you're a tall girl and you're the right side.
Yeah,
Did you automatically get tossed in the middle?
they tried that the first year, a lefty middle when they're just running two balls, like
Mm-hmm.
nobody can pass, so they just kind of like throw it up into the middle of the court, and they're
Yeah.
like, "Oh, you can hit it." So that was me for about my first year, and then after that, I moved to the right side.
Nice. And that's so important because often, they just throw the tall girl in the middle and then you don't develop the other skills around that. And the other
Yeah.
problem that you see is, you see a lot of these, club players, they put the tall girl in the middle so you don't get that outside experience. So you have these girls that are 5'8", 5'9" are the ones that are out on the pins. And when you get to that next level, that's a rare thing to see somebody at 5'9" playing the pin. So you really do a disservice all the way around by just plopping, just sort of generalizing your player.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think everyone should learn how to pass. Everyone needs to learn how to play defense, like stick the middles in the back row,
Yeah.
make them play every position. When I lived in Germany, I was friends with a volleyball family there who is German. And when they play every position, like they just rotate and they play every single position. So they learn all the skills until they're like 14 or 15 years
Yeah.
old. All those young years, they're building all their fundamental skills.
That's great because now you don't have the tall people afraid to go diving and digging up balls.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
And then, after high school, USC was next. What made you, pick them and what was the whole recruiting process like?
Yeah, the recruiting process was interesting because it happened really young, which I wasn't really expecting. When I was in eighth grade, I had like letters and letters and letters coming
Wow.
in every single day. It was like crazy. We had this whole like box of letters, and I had to kind of choose where I wanted to visit and what was interesting to me. So I visited 5 schools, and I was deciding between Texas and USC in the end.
Yeah.
Um, and I just tried to envision myself. I had gotten advice from someone older than me who said, try to envision yourself at the school without volleyball.
Mm-hmm.
Like, would you still like the school? And then put the volleyball program in it. How does it like, do you love the volleyball program as well? And for me, USC just felt like a great fit for me. I had two older girls. It was Natalie Haglin and Katie Fuller, who also went to my high school, and we were kind of family friends with the Fullers. So I went and did my visit while they were at school, and also Haley Crone
Okay.
um, with her too. So that helped me envision myself be there. I was like, if they really love it, and we're family friends, then maybe I'll love it too.
Nice. Yeah, that whole, picture the school without volleyball is so important. I had Micah Christensen on, and that was one of the things his parents said to him. It's like, Micah, you're one injury away from volleyball going away. And that's
Mhm.
why, the school is so important outside of volleyball.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. What was with volleyball, women's volleyball being a fall sport, you hit the school basically, from high school to college, you have a small window getting used to college life and now playing at a D1 level. What were some of the challenges that first year?
Oh, there were so many challenges. I mean, because we, I We went to nationals when I was 18, and then we won. And then I came back, I think it was the 4th of July when I landed, and then I had to drive up to USC on July 5th.
Wow.
So to start summer school and like, those open gyms and lifting and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So there was literally no time to rest or recover or anything. It was just straight on to USC. And it just hits you like you have to learn how to manage it. Managing like a tough academic curriculum
Yeah.
plus a tough like lifting schedule, volleyball schedule. You're exerting yourself at 100% every single day for maybe 3 hours, 4 hours. And then on top of that, trying to make friends and trying to like find your group and who you want to hang out with. And then being in, yeah, it was a lot to manage. And I definitely went through like a roller coaster of learning how to manage it in college. Some months and years were not good, and some months and years were really successful. So
Yeah, and a couple of things off that. First of all, the whole you're if you are playing in nationals, yeah, your first week of July, you could be, still playing ball, and that's a long season for anybody. From a high school, you go high school season, club, and then for as a senior, you're rolling into college. Like I had Kirsten Bernthal Booth on, and she was talking about they really need to shorten that club season. Have some break at some point so these kids could get some time for recovery.
now they did. Now the 18 season ends in, I want to say
Oh,
April
nice.
or maybe beginning of May. I think they're done now. I think they already had nationals or they have it soon,
That's
but
good.
they're supposed to have the month of June off.
Yeah.
But I also don't know if now these colleges want them to come in June
Right.
because that can also be the case. They move up the club season and then,
Like,
um,
oh, you can come in early now, and
yeah, come on in. Yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
there's
Oh,
no
but I
pressure.
exactly. Going back to your previous question, I have a funny story about the difference in level going
Mm-hmm.
from club to college. Like, obviously, the level is so much better. Like, these girls are so much better. I wasn't really lifting weights. I was like a little stick string bean coming in to volleyball. And Samantha Bricio is a sophomore or a junior as I'm coming in. And we did an open gym and everyone's passing and serving. And so I'm in six trying to serve receive Samantha Bricio's like crazy hybrid float. She has one of the best serves in the world. And I'm standing there and it just hits me straight in the face. I
Oh
don't even
no.
have time to think. She's on the end line. Like you shouldn't get hit in the face from a serve.
Yeah,
Oh, that was a big like wake up of, oh God, this is a different level that I better get used to really quickly.
absolutely. And then the other thing that people don't think of is when you're when you're playing 18, everybody's 18. Now you're in college, you're playing against women that are 19, 20, 21, 22. 3 years
Mhm.
of weightlifting and strength, and just it is night and day.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. And that first season, what was the biggest difference from a level of play standpoint? Was just the balls moving faster, more tempo on the offense and whatnot?
Yeah, everything about the level is more intense. Like you have to be faster on defense. You have to hit the ball harder. Everyone can defend better. The blockers are so much better. The tempo is faster. Um, yeah, everything about it is just next level.
Yeah.
Kind of you have to go for it and raise your level or you'll lose your spot.
Yeah. And another aspect to that whole freshman, aspect of coming in is you're leaving club where you're the alpha, you're the starter, and now you have that adjustment where you may be a role player, you may be sitting on the bench, and that's a lot to add into that freshman year.
Yeah, I agree. I was definitely a role player. I was kind of riding the bench my freshman year behind a really good opposite. So I did not take to that adjustment very well. I think in my head, I kind of gave up and was just like, okay, then I'll enjoy college and I'll like do school and, make friends. But volleyball wasn't my like main focus.
Mm-hmm.
And I had given up a little bit in my freshman year and taken a back seat, accepting my role on the bench rather than what I would do now is like find ways to push through it and how to get better and hopefully get a chance.
And that, would that be the advice you would give back to freshman Brittany if you had a chance to?
Yeah, definitely. I would
Yeah.
do a lot of things differently, but that's definitely one thing in freshman year is to not give up and to really try harder.
Yeah. And now looking back at your career at USC, what were some of the highlights that stick out the most for you?
Um, Highlights. I mean, highlights for me, every time someone asks me that, it's always about the
Yeah.
people. It's always the people you meet, the friendships you make, the memories you make with them. But in terms of volleyball, um, I think it's they're not like good memories, but they are
Yeah.
memories. But it's going to the Elite Eight twice, which
Hmm.
is an accomplishment, but then we lost
Yeah.
in like kind of heartbreaking like 5 set
Oh,
matches both times. So that always hurts, but I think those were good lessons for
yeah.
me.
Yeah, going back to your memories of the people, that's the one thing that's so common I hear is like, what they miss most is that locker room because you never get another time in life where it's that sort of you don't have the pressures of a full-time job. It is just, your volleyball and your the girls you're playing with.
Yeah, exactly. It's always about the friendships. Like that's what's taking up most of your time. It is a team sport. So
Hmm.
I'm with the girls in the locker room and we're together on the court and we're together in the lift and maybe we have a couple classes together and they're my roommate for 4 years.
Right. And then after college, was pro always a part of the plan or sort of it just sort of happened?
So I discovered that pro volleyball exists when I was playing at Coast Volleyball Club. And I think I was maybe in my 16s or 17s year. And this girl came in, Kayal Burdine. Do you know her?
No.
She was a pro indoor player. Now she was a pro AVP player afterwards. Now she's retired and has a couple kids.
Yeah.
But she came in for training, kind of like how I do now in the summer, keep in shape, go play with the club team a couple times a week. So she came in to do that. And she said, "Oh, I'm playing." She was wearing she went to USC. She was wearing a USC shirt. And she said, "I'm playing pro volleyball in Azerbaijan." And I was like, "Where is Azerbaijan?" And I didn't even know pro volleyball existed. And that just kind of opened the door for me of like, oh, wow, every country except the US has pro volleyball. And
Right.
that's something that I can do after college. But that was just in the back of my mind for a while, like maybe that's something I'll do. And then I had 2 years in college where I loved volleyball and wanted to go pro, and
Hmm.
2 years where I was like, should I quit? Should I retire?
Oh,
What should I do? This is so hard. But then my senior year, I was like, I want to go for it. At the beginning of the season, I told my assistant coach, I was like, this is my plan. I want to go pro. Please help me out. What do I need to do in the gym in volleyball to be able to go and play in Europe? Because I really want that
yeah.
experience.
And it's funny you say that person who's playing Aspergina. I butch-
Azerbaijan.
Yes. So I had Cassidy Lickman on, and she mentioned that she played over there. And I had no clue
Yeah.
that they even had a pro league over there.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Honestly, every country except the
You're
US has a pro league.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. And that first year, what were some of the challenging things? Because often I hear it's you're over there by yourself. Maybe there's another American on the team, different language, different culture, all of those things, to get used to.
Yeah. I I had a really difficult time getting a contract actually. I went with an agent and I had only three contract offers in the beginning, but they were all like the first two were not good
Yeah.
and they really were not worth my time. I was having I needed to stay home for like family reasons for a
Yeah.
few months. And so then the timing worked out well where I got this contract to Poland in November. So I only did a half season, like December until April in Poland. So
Hmm.
I think I had a good experience because it was so short. It's like, everything's new and I'm, meeting people and figuring out how to survive in a foreign country. Like Google Translate is my best friend and I'm driving stick shift and going to the grocery store. So but I think in that short amount of time, I was learning how to adjust and then I blinked and it was gone and I was back home.
Nice.
So I think it was a great like introduction for my
Yeah.
first to have a short season. Um, and I actually look back fondly on those memories. Would I go back to Radom, Poland? Probably not.
Yeah.
But for that time of like just wanting to explore and adventure and be a little traveler and make new friends, it was perfect for me.
Nice. Yeah, some of the players have been on. They talk about the importance of finding a good agent that knows all of the clubs over there, so you're not getting blindsided by a club that may not even pay you on time and things like that.
Definitely. And that's something your agent has to be good at is asking them like, what are the financials and where is this money coming from? And what's their history of paying teams on time? How much cash reserves do they have? Or if they have a bad month, are they gonna be able to pay you or are they gonna, not pay you for 6 months and then close the club and then you'll never see your contract?
Right.
And in terms of volleyball level, like going from college until pro, it is also a different level because you're with different people. They're playing a different style of volleyball. Like maybe they're great at one thing and not great at another. And also the coaching adjustment is definitely very different because my coach did not speak one single word of English. And the assistant coach was like he spoke a little bit of English, so we could kind of get by. But it's just kind of a lot of like, you're looking around and you have to figure out what's going on within 10 seconds. Okay, they're doing the drill. You don't know what they're saying, but the ball's flying this way. Okay, now I just have to attack, like bump set spike. I don't
Right.
know. You just have to figure it out and like think quickly, be on your feet, be super observant. And that's how most people get by overseas.
Yeah. And then add in another piece of that. I had Cole Hogland on, and he talked about playing in Japan. You know, the coach, you had a translator, but even on the floor during play, the teammates didn't speak English. So trying to, communicate was next level of difficulty because you're trying to read or adjust or whatnot and relay that, but the person next to you doesn't speak English.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. It is a struggle.
Yeah. And,
You have
and
to choose what you want to translate. Like if something is of enough importance to need to tell someone or to ask questions, you have to kind of sift through that in your mind before doing it.
yeah. And the other piece of this too, people hear, "Oh, you're a pro volleyball player." It's not all rainbows and unicorns.
No.
It is a night and day often from you think of the NBA or the NHL players, football players. You see them. Oh, they're set for life. It's different for pro volleyball.
Definitely. Definitely. We are not. When I was playing overseas, we were not set for life. My salary was so low. I was like, I don't know if I can do this for more than a couple years because I need to get a real job and be able to support myself. Um, but it's definitely not all rainbows and butterflies, and it is a huge challenge. The biggest challenge, I think, is being so far away from your family.
Hmm.
It is a total dream to be able to play a sport as your job and to live in Europe and be able to travel and all that stuff. But after doing it for 6, 7, 8 years, being away from your family for that long it takes a toll on your heart and like on your soul, and on your family as well.
Absolutely. And another aspect of that too is every country you go to, there's different, it's a different culture. So, I've heard this about, when you play in Brazil, the coaches they may come off like they're angry at you, but that's just how they deliver and they communicate. So every country is a whole new learning experience.
Yeah, it is. It definitely is.
And then over the course of your career playing, outside of the PVF and playing for Athletes Unlimited, what countries have you played in?
I played in Poland and then I went to Germany in Potsdam for 2 years. And then I went to Turkey in Adam. It's in a city called Gaziantep. It's really close to Syria. I was there for 2 years. And then I went to South Korea for 1 year with IBK Altos. And then in between like those summers, I was playing in Puerto Rico for Pinkin de Corozal and the national team as well, the Puerto Rican national
Yeah.
team. And then after Korea, I went to Orlando.
Now, playing for, when you went to play for Puerto Rico, was that outside not the national team, but the pro team down there? Was that outside the normal window of when the pro teams are playing over in Europe?
Yes, the leagues that I play, the times that I was playing, it was in the summer. So the first 2 years actually were in the summer. I think we started like in June. And it was super short. And then the third year, they had moved the league into the spring, but I was in Turkey, so I ended, I think, middle of March. So I was able to come back. I actually just played in the semis and the finals for Corozal and ended
Okay,
up winning.
nice,
So yeah, it was a nice little trip, 3 week
nice,
trip.
yeah. And then from your times playing pro overseas, what were some of the highlights for you? Any particular country? Any particular, just again, did it come down to the people?
Yeah, it's always the people.
Yeah.
Yeah. But aside from that, I think in Germany, people ask me what my favorite place to play was, and it was Germany. Because I found like a best friend in Germany. Her name's Katie, and we're still friends to this day. We're going on a summer vacation together this summer, but
Nice.
she like really brought me in. She's a preschool teacher in Germany. She's not involved in volleyball, although her younger sister is
Mm-hmm.
like 14, she plays, but she brought me in with her family, and we would have like Sunday family dinners, and we would watch Lord of the Rings and go on family walks. And like it was just this incredible like family unit and
Mm-hmm.
feeling that I had while playing overseas. And it was like I owe them everything because it's what really got me through, difficult seasons and
Yeah.
being so far from home. And I just hold a special place in my heart, like with her and with the other friends also that I made. So I was able to get some relief from volleyball
Mm-hmm.
and hang out with their family and hang out with a different group of friends and kind of see German culture and family life
Yeah.
um, in a really kind of intimate way.
Yeah. Yeah. They really, lifestyle is totally different over there. Stores are really closed on Sundays, and there's really
Yeah,
more focus on family time and doing things together.
yeah, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
They're much more like they go on walks all the time. Like they love nature. They love being out in nature. They love like eating real food.
Yes.
From the grocery store, everything is like fresh and real food and in small packages because you're only cooking dinner like for that night with your
Right.
family rather than for a whole week.
Yep. Yeah.
So,
And one thing I've
and they,
just, oh, go ahead.
sorry, and they really care about the driving rules. Like you
Oh,
have to use
yes.
your blinker, you have to follow the rules, and the speed trap cameras, they love those too. They'll put this little black box on the side of the road that you cannot see. And if you're going more than 3 kilometers over the speed limit, then it flashes you and you get like a 35 euro ticket or
Yeah.
something. And I got way too many of those when I was there.
Yeah, because over here, here you're 10 miles over is the norm, but
Yeah,
over there,
and you
yeah.
can like look for the cop car, but we don't have like flashing like cameras on the side of the
Yeah.
road.
Yeah. And yeah, when I was over there, I remember like, you don't stick in the left lane. You pass and move over. You don't, yeah, absolutely.
Nope, you'll get an Audi going 200 miles an hour just flying past you, so you better get out of the way.
Yeah, absolutely. And one thing I've noticed or I've heard from is, over in Europe, those leagues are your traditional you play at home and travel at different cities. I understand, I don't know if it was in South Korea or Philippines, where basically sort of a whole bunch, you play a bunch of games at the same day with like in this arena where everybody sort of all
Yeah.
plays together.
The only one I've heard of is Indonesia
Oh,
and
okay.
possibly the Philippines. I'm not 100% sure about the
Yeah.
Philippines, but definitely Indonesia. They'll leave for a week or more, 2 weeks, and have like a whole tournament, and you're staying in the same hotel for the whole time, and
Yeah.
everyone plays each other. So in South Korea, it's not like that. There are 7 teams. We play each team 6 times, so we have
Oh, wow.
36 games over the season. It was so many games. But South Korea is actually really small. So
Mm-hmm.
the farthest that we would have to drive is 4 hours in a bus in a really
Nice.
nice. But we would still go there like the day before and stay in a hotel and practice and stuff,
Yeah.
and then come home the night of the game.
Nice. And now,
Yeah.
playing for the Puerto Rican national team, how was that experience? Because now you're playing against countries, and, with countries, what I've come to learn is every country sort of has their own style.
Yeah. I loved playing in Puerto Rico. That it was just such a huge blessing that I was able to do that and represent the island. And I, again, loved the people. Like, I'm still best friends with them. And I also loved my coach, Fernand Morales. He was great. He introduced like a fast system for us. And I think he did a great job coaching us those 3 years that I was there. And now he's the head coach of the South Korean national
Oh,
team.
cool.
Um, but in terms of level, I think that is what specifically like projected me even further in my career because I was able to play in a world championships and I'm playing against Italy, against Paolo Egonu,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm playing against Turkey, against Ebrar Karakurt and Melissa Vargas, like these incredible players who are just like at another level
Mm-hmm.
of volleyball, and to be able to see that and challenge myself and kind of know what it takes to like level up my game,
Yeah.
see that in person and experience it and play that. That's what took my game to the next level. So I'm really grateful for that experience.
Excellent. And now, after years of playing overseas, you come back and there's, something called Athletes Unlimited. How did you get involved with that?
Yeah, well, I was overseas in the first 3 years of AU, so and I have tons of friends playing in it. So I would see them hanging out and playing volleyball, and I'm like, well, this looks kind of fun. And same thing with the PVF. When I was in Korea, I was watching my friends play in PVF, and I was like, oh, this actually looks kind of fun, and it looks like a good league. Maybe I'd be interested in doing that next year. So that's kind of just from seeing my friends play and
Yeah.
I gave it a consideration.
And this past fall was the first, or I guess last summer, you played in the AU. And how was that experience? And you ended up winning, becoming the champions.
Yeah, I know. I was as shocked as everyone else because I went into it and I was like, oh, I hope I finish in the top 10. Like there's some really, I thought Maddie Kingdon was going to win for sure. Or Betty again. Like I was like, there's shoe-in for first place. I'll just sit, in the top 10. Hopefully I can compete well. But then when I got there, I think the big difference for me was I was training all summer. I
Mm-hmm.
was lifting weights. I was playing volleyball like twice a week. I was practicing with women's club teams and also men's club teams, like 17s men's
Yeah.
or boys. And just like challenging myself, challenging my level, playing a little bit of beach. And so when I went to AU, I was like fully prepared, in shape, fully ready. But a lot of the girls that came in hadn't played volleyball all summer.
Yeah.
So there's only 1 week of preseason, and that's not really enough time to like get into your groove and your
Mm-hmm.
rhythm to you're playing at your peak performance. So I think that gave me like a big head start and a big advantage going into AU.
Yeah.
So if anyone's playing AU and listening to this, that's what I recommend is that you train beforehand for a while. And then I really liked the format. I was so nervous for drafting in the
Mm-hmm.
second week. I didn't sleep. Like I was so nervous that I was going to make a huge mistake or it was going to go poorly. And then um, but it ended up working out well. All the players are great. So I loved the players that I got a chance to play with when I was at AU. And I just kept working, watching video, watching the other teams,
Mm-hmm.
kind of figuring out strategy and how I could score points and how to help the team win. And when you do that enough weeks in a row at AU, then you end up with the most points and you win.
Yeah.
So it worked out.
And now, being a captain, did it scratch an itch? Maybe you want to getting involved in coaching down the road?
No, I don't want to coach. Maybe I'll be like a assistant for my kids or
Yeah.
something. Yeah, I would love to do like mental coaching, some
Mm-hmm.
type of sports psychology, more on that side. But I don't think I mean, I've coached when I was in college. I was
Yeah.
coaching a team, how it goes to get a little extra money on the
Mm-hmm.
side,
Yeah.
summer camps and all that. So I've done that before. But no, I'm not necessarily, my leadership style is much more like consistent and playing leadership.
Yeah.
I'm not a vocal, you can ask anyone, like I'm not a vocal leader. I'm not super comfortable like speaking to groups or like
Yeah.
it's just not my style. I'm more of like, okay, you can rely on me and trust me that I'm gonna do my job and I'm gonna give you this amount of points in the game. Like you can trust me for that. And I think I'm leading that way.
All right. So we're not going to see a TED Talk tour anytime soon.
Probably not. Probably not.
All right. And now,
Never say never. I
okay.
do like a good challenge, so we'll see.
All right, there we go. And now PVF. So an opportunity to play, a full, a season at home in the US, and how did you end up getting, hooked up with Orlando?
Yeah. I talked actually to I think all the coaches before I decided on Orlando, but again, could I imagine myself in that place without volleyball and then add the volleyball piece back into it in the club and do I like it? And Orlando felt like a really good fit for me. I'm a West Coast girl. I
Mm-hmm.
love being outside. I love the sunshine and going to Orlando seemed like a really good fit. And
Nice.
also a big not a big reason, but a small reason is because also my boyfriend's living with me and he's Puerto Rican. So there's so many Puerto Ricans in Orlando. So we actually love like the diversity
Yeah.
that there is in Orlando and we love living there.
Nice. And now, that first, first time practicing and in the locker room, did it kind of feel surreal? Like here you are, at home with, familiar faces.
A little bit. I think because I had the experience with AU, I think at AU it was more of a shock, like
Yeah.
being in the gym with the 44 girls the first day and the coaches are in English. And I'm like, this is crazy, you know?
Uh,
But that's, I think I felt that more at AU than at Orlando. Yeah. But
okay.
I want to go back to saying why I chose Orlando. I think Amy is a great recruiter and also a great coach. I respect her a ton because she is striving to be her best every single day and you can see it and you can feel it. And she's super open to like feedback and she is just like a good person to work with, I think, as a player. That was my experience. I loved the assistant coaches. We had a great strength trainer. And they really want the best for their players. And I felt that during the recruiting
Yeah.
process. It's
Nice.
also why I chose to go to Orlando.
Yeah, Amy has been on the podcast here, and yeah, we love Amy. She just the energy and just how can you not like her? It's just
Yeah.
really great person. And
Yeah.
and yeah, I like to get your take on this. Were there any moments in the locker room where you're like, you're looking over and there's the freshman there who's never experienced pro in Europe, but like, hey guys, you don't know how good you have it right now.
Yes, definitely. Definitely. That was a big a little bit of a complaint that I had heard
Mm-hmm.
is that is the difficulty that coaches would have trying to coach like fresh out of college and a 10-year pro,
Yeah.
like Chump, my setter. So trying to like navigate that was difficult. We had great recruits. Like I loved all of our recruits. They hopped on board and they got with the program. I think they respected the older veterans and they were able to jump in really quickly. Like they were getting extra reps all the time. They were really putting in their work to earn their spot and earn their respect on the team as well. So
Nice.
shout out to all of them.
And speaking of the other players, during a tense moment, who was the one that was going to crack the tension or maybe crack a joke? Who was the joker on that team?
The Joker. Well, I think Kaz is a great vocal leader. Also, MK always has a lot of wisdom.
Yeah.
Oh, Lindsay Vanderweide, when she's in her zone and playing, the things that come out of her mouth like make us crack up. She doesn't
Nice.
even know she's doing it. It's just like automatic, but she's so funny when she plays.
Oh,
She's just like intense and competitive, and then she says like the funniest things, and we always got a good laugh out of it.
excellent. And now, after a season with the PVF under your belt, what are some things that stick out from playing there in the PVF league versus over in Europe that really, was like, wow, this is really they do some really good stuff here.
Hmm. Um, I think at least in Orlando, we have a lot of girls from club volleyball that come and support, and I think that was really unique. I
Yeah.
think in Europe, it's not a lot of club girls. It's
Yeah.
like old, like middle-aged or like older men who were coming
Yeah.
to our game. Um, but we had so many club girls, and it was amazing to see them, kind of idolize us and
Right.
want to be volleyball players when they're older. And to have that visibility of this league in the US is, I think, the most important piece for me. Also, I think like the the media coverage, like the TV coverage and the announcers and everything, I think that's super professional and there's easy access for people, for viewers who want to watch as well.
Nice. Excellent. And now, over the season, you guys won it all. Was there a game or a moment in the season when you guys felt like, yeah, we can do this?
After we won the first set against Atlanta,
Yeah.
because I gotta be honest, I went into the Atlanta game. I'm not superstitious. I'm not like thinking I'm gonna kill everyone and win every single game all the time. I'm just like I'm prepared. I'm gonna go in and try my best. That's what I always think. And I went into the Atlanta game and I was like, this is going to be a really tough one. It's going to be a really big battle. We don't know who's going to win at the end, but either team could bring it out. And after we won the first set and I looked around and I like felt that feeling of like flow from a
Yeah.
team, not only from myself, because I felt it from myself being in flow state, but I like my whole team was in flow state as well, which rarely happens. It's
Yeah.
hard to get there as a team. And after I felt that, I was like, oh, we're winning this game and we're going to win the championship.
Uh,
That was the
I
moment for me.
I love that flow state. You know, my daughter's high school coach calls it, you know, keeping the mojo. The mojo's with us.
Yeah.
But flow
Mhm.
state, I like that. I'm gonna steal that one.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a huge thing for athletes. And something interesting that I want to share that I just recently heard about, it was actually a couple weeks before the playoffs happened. I think it was a clip, it had to be like Dr. Michael Gervais or some other well-known sports psychologist. He was talking about how you have to be so well prepared and at such a playing at such a high level before the playoffs. You need that preparation because when you get to the playoffs, when you get to the semis, and when you get to the finals, your body is naturally under so much stress and pressure that it's really difficult to get into flow state, nearly impossible to
Hmm.
get into flow state. So you have your level of play has to be good enough to still win, even when you don't reach your peak performance flow state. And I feel like that's what our team was able to accomplish in the playoffs, in the semis, and in the finals. Like whether people were in flow state or not, like our level was so high and so locked in that we were able to be more successful than the other teams. Just from
Nice.
our preparation
Yeah.
alone, I think we prepared so well.
Excellent. And now, you know, for this year, you know, this year from AU to PVF, you know, in what ways do you feel you grew the most?
Oh, okay. A huge goal of mine going into this year and this season was to be a finisher, like to be the go-to gal under pressure. I'm getting the ball and I'm putting it away.
Hmm.
Because growing up throughout my life, I was also that person. I was the go-to person, but I had a lot of doubt of like, can I do it? Or I immediately like leave flow state because I'm so nervous on game point and I like hit the ball 20 feet out of bounds,
Yeah.
you know? So that was my goal was like, can I be consistently great and score the ball on game point? And I think luckily I had tons of practice at AU. I had tons of practice in Orlando because Champu loves to set me the back set all the time. She loves to set me. But I felt like we built that trust over our time in Orlando and in Korea.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm most proud of this season was that I could be the go-to girl and that I could be successful doing it.
Nice. I have to say, your setter looks like she just enjoys life and so much
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah. Yeah. Going back to your other question about who's so funny on the court, Champu is so funny. So the things she says, the like moves she does, she's just like having the best time. She really loves volleyball, loves the sport, and is so good at it. And she's just like full of kind of light and joy, and she, infects that into the team. So she's a really fun teammate to have.
Nice. Before the game, you said, you don't have any superstitions, but do you have any pregame rituals? Do you need to have a certain meal, you know, music playlist or something?
Not really a certain meal. It has to be clean, like something that's not going to make my stomach upset or make me feel heavy. It'll be like chicken and rice or potatoes or, something, some green like broccoli,
Yeah.
something healthy, but that's usually provided by the team.
Yeah.
So that's all taken care of. But my ritual is I'm listening to usually on the way there. This doesn't have to happen. Like I'm
Hmm.
not strict about it. But I love playing house music on the way there just to like get my energy up, the good vibes, and like happy, ready to go playing. And then when I'm um I do a visualization. So I'll play hip hop music, rap music to get kind of in a more intense mode. And I'll sit and close my eyes for maybe 3 to 4 minutes and do a visualization mentally of how my body feels attacking the ball from the right side, from the pipe, from the D, like hitting every single angle I can hit sharp and corner and visualizing the high hands and what that looks like and feels like. blocking, like how aggressive can I be? What moves am I making? And visualizing, the outside I'm going to play against. Is it Leah? Is it Nina? Where are they going to hit? What moves am I going to make? Same thing on defense, serving, and just try to that's what really like locks me into playing mode because I didn't used to do this. And I would kind of go into the warm up more like loose and relaxed and try to work into it. And then after one set, I would feel in the zone. But this visualization has allowed me to lock in before the match even starts or before the
Yeah.
warm up even starts. So
Nice.
my body's like ready and prepared to be in a competitive game mode.
Excellent. All right. And now, for next year, what's the plans for next year? Are you doing AU again? And, plans for playing back in Orlando?
I am going back to AU, and then after that, I'm not allowed to
All right.
say.
That's fair.
We'll see, we'll see.
All
Yeah,
right.
but I am signed with AU. They already announced that. So I'll be
Nice.
back there. The girls, the roster is going to be so good. So I recommend everyone goes and watches it. It's going to be some great level volleyball. We're going to be in Omaha and Madison, Wisconsin. And then after that, yeah, I'm going to stay in the US. That's
Nice.
my plan. And yeah, we'll see.
All right. Any advice for those college players that may be coming into, one of the U.S. pro leagues next year? What kind of advice do you have for them?
I think my best advice is like learn as much as you can from the veteran players. Like
Hmm.
we had a girl straight out of college. Her name's Lydia, and she was playing at Minnesota, and we drafted her as our second opposite. And she was amazing. I love her so much, but she wanted to learn as much as possible. She was asking me a ton of questions like, what do you think about this? What can I do in this situation? What do you think about my technique? She was also asking other players on the team, asking our setter. I think taking as much advice and like trying to be as open-minded like and as a sponge as you can
Hmm.
just take in as much as you can. Most like a lot of people can come in and like think they know it all, and I've done that too on other teams, but having that like humble being a little bit humble and coming in saying, okay, I have a lot to learn. Who can I learn from? Who's going to teach me? How can I grow? I think that's the best advice that I can give to the younger girls.
All right. Excellent. And now, I have a question from a high school player, who is looking to be a better blocker. As an opposite, you're blocking a lot of the big hitters. What are some of the little things that helped you be a better blocker?
Funny you should ask because I was actually, I think, the worst blocking opposite in the PBF until like the last 3 games. But that's been another focus of mine. I realized in the first half of the season, like, oh, I'm a pretty not great blocker right now, and that's a skill. That is the one skill that I really need to work on in
Hmm.
order to be a next level opposite and improve my game. So I worked with our coaches, and even my agent was giving me advice, and I think I improved that by the end of the year, but it is still a skill that I want to improve. But what I have to say is like open your eyes so that you can see the attacker. It's like our natural tendency to want to like close our eyes on impact, but you
Yeah.
have to open your eyes to see what the attacker is doing. And for me, most coaches in club and high school are telling you like just stay in like take up an area rather than go and block the ball. But my best advice would be like be aggressive on going to get the ball. Like
Hmm.
watch blockers like Molly McCage or who else? Yeah, I would say Molly like is the best middle blocker in the country in my opinion. I've
Yeah.
played against her. She's so good. And then watch international volleyball as well. Watch those big blockers. Watch men's volleyball, watch women's volleyball. But if you're a visual learner, you can take advice and take cues from them, but having that aggressive mindset that you want to get the block rather than just like take up a space, like
Right.
me being a pencil, like not getting the ball is the best advice that I have.
All right, there we go. And now for you, over your career since you first started playing volleyball, who's is there a particular person, coach, who's been your mentor that has you really owe a lot to where you are today?
I think going back to club, my coach, JJ Van Neal, he had just started coaching club volleyball and he just like put his heart and soul into it and he made us like run sprints so much. He was such a hard ass on us, which is just his personality,
Yeah.
but it made us so good at volleyball. Like all of us improved so much over the 2 years that we had him in club. And I think he really set the foundation for my volleyball skills and knowledge. He made us watch video. He taught us how to read stats. Like these are all important skills that you need as you grow and go through more years of volleyball. And then Ojan, he was also my 18s coach. He was great. And then in college, I learned a lot as well from the coach and the assistant coach. And my mentor now is actually my sports life coach. It's a little bit like sports psychology,
Yeah.
but I've been with her. Most people don't know this about me, but I've been with her doing weekly meetings for the past 4 years, like being intentional about my work I'm doing and my growth in volleyball and in life and family with friends, trying to grow throughout this process. And she is totally a mentor for me. I want to be like her when I'm older. I have so much love and respect for her, and she's, helped me in so many ways.
Awesome. All right, I got a fun question for you. So I had Eric showed you on a while ago, and him and Taylor have this thing. What's the toughest position in volleyball? So Brittany,
Yeah.
what is the toughest position in volleyball?
Oh, I think I gotta say middle.
Yeah.
I would hate to be a middle
Yep.
because anytime I'm blocking and there's three options,
Mm-hmm.
I am stressed. And they have four, five, I don't know,
Yeah.
the better, sometimes five. Like it just is so stressful. And the ball's so fast now. And everyone's like, close the block, close the block. And they're like, I literally can't. So that they're flying through the air trying to close the block. So it just seems like the really hard position. Shout out to all the middles.
There we go. All right. And now, away from the court, what are some of the things you like to do?
Ooh, I love hanging out with my friends. We always go to the beach. I'm always at the beach hanging out. Oh, babysitting my niece. That's my favorite thing to
Yeah.
do right. But in Orlando, I love cooking. Like I'll go to practice, cook lunch, lay out by the pool, cook dinner. That's definitely my favorite thing. And now I've gotten back into reading.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm
Nice.
also reading and cooking. Pickleball's fun. Love doing that. Oh, the other thing, concerts. I'm a huge concert gal. Probably went to like 10 concerts last year, went to a festival. I just got back from a festival last weekend. I'm planning on going to a concert next weekend. It's just like my friend group in San Diego, we are huge music lovers. So anytime we won't hang out like otherwise than going to a concert, that's how you can get us all together. So that's also something I love doing.
All right. And who is on the list that you haven't seen yet that you would love to see from a concert standpoint?
Kaytranada
Okay.
is my number one bucket list. Need to go see him. Kaytranada.
All
Yeah.
right. There we go. Well, hey, thank you so much for doing this. I really appreciate it. It was wonderful to meet you. But before I let you go, like with past guests, I look for you to recommend somebody in your volleyball circle to come on and share their story.
Ooh, somebody in my volleyball circle. Interesting. Honestly, I think my boyfriend would be
All
so
right.
great. He loves talking.
Yeah.
He's so personable. His name's Pedro Nieves, and he played for the Puerto Rican national team for a
Mm-hmm.
bunch of years. He's a middle blocker playing in the pro league now in San Sebastian in Puerto Rico.
All right.
So I think he would actually be awesome on this podcast.
Excellent. Well, we will get him on. All
Perfect.
right. Well, hey, thank you so much and good luck with AU this summer.
Thank you so much.